Well, we showed the wonderful doll hats before, and now here's an example of doll hats in miniature. One of the wonderful doll rooms or related pieces that we have in this auction, and this is a millinery shop. In fact, it appears to be Louise Gallagher's Louise Beauty Salon, and here's her little calling cards that are arranged on the counter for the people to pick up, the people that are going to arrange to sit on those little table at the side where they can try on hats and look in the mirror. And we have arranged around on the counter, there are, I can't even count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's got to be dozens of little tiny miniature hats, some of them really beautiful antique miniature hats to go on little mignonette dolls, which you'd like to have if you dare to take them out of the arrangement. They're wonderful. Hat boxes, the wonderful ladies that have come shopping, the shopkeeper, the counter, the display pieces, and then all of the little boxes of novelties and things that people could choose if they wanted to individualize their hats. A great millinery shop. So we have an early Nürnberg kitchen, and it is filled. And actually, we just showed you the Neapolitan man, and there are 2 Neapolitan figures which are used in this early kitchen. There would be about the same time, early 1800s. To house the kitchen and doing all of their work here, and it's wonderful. This kitchen is filled with the compartments that are actually, these are not just placed in there, but these shelving are all built in to the kitchen. It has the built-in stove at the back with a chimney above it. Very, very wonderful to find. As dollhouse growth went on, stoves began to be made individually, and you'd place one in the house. But in these early Nuremberg kitchens, one of the signs of them would be that the stove is actually built in. It has the original tiled floor and filled with copper molds and pewter mugs and pewter plates. Wonderful, wonderful pieces. Even a butcher block over here. So many great pieces on this early Nuremberg kitchen. I really love it. One of my favorites of the auction. I love this piece. This is really extraordinary. It is a gypsy caravan or a peddler wagon, whatever you'd want to call it, and the peddler would travel around from village to village. It didn't have access to a lot of great stores, living in the caravan, and you can see there are even curtained windows. There's removable steps, so you could draw up the steps and close your door when you slept at night. A little driver's seat at the front for the horse that would be pulling it. And you'd come into a neighborhood and you would start to peddle your wares. You would have all sorts of cast iron and pewter and tollware, oil lamps and pots and pans and every type of kitchenware that would be needed. And then sometimes even little novelty toys that could be for sale for people that wanted to indulge their children a while. I like the caravan because it even has details like the faux chimney pipe coming up at the top, and has its original paint and the scalloped edging of the windows at the back. A great and really rare and wonderful piece. And one of the reasons I really like the collection of rooms and miniature settings that we have in this catalog is that they're very, very diverse. Here, for example, is an early apothecary shop, and I've left the front doors closed. We'll open those in a minute to show you the wonderful architectural details on it. The painted faux bricks, the columns, the bracketing around the windows, the paneled front door. Very, very wonderful with its original paint. And then you carefully open the front doors, and you can see inside the actual display windows, which are great. And I don't know if you notice on the front, let me close this one again just to point out to you that many of the jars and bottles will have their original spice labels or herb labels on the front. Inside, you have wonderful parquetry floor, just beautiful work on it with the patterns of in three colors, wonderfully done. The original counter, freestanding counter in the middle, the entire back wall with shelving to find various herbs and things. I don't know if there's anything in there. You never know what you might find. And then we have all of the different medicines and the bottles, the glass bottles, and the some of the cardboard containers, and we even have our man back there waiting to serve you to mix up whatever you need for what your ales would be, and the scale, and the mortar and pestles, and this wonderful piece. I mean, there's so many great pieces in here. As an early apothecary shop, I would say this would be first half of the 1800s. Very, very wonderful piece with the original paint. Well, those people who know me well know that I love curious and unusual things, and so I've decided that one of the segments I should always have in my video are the pieces in a particular auction that I think really kind of, wow, I would love to have that, or that could live in my house, or that makes me happy just to look at it. So I have here an assembly of things that just were things that I particularly liked, no particular genre or type, except I call it the curiosity section. So let's just start with our big guy here at the back. One of the very, very rare sized Neapolitan figures. Very seldom ever find them in this size, with their wonderfully sculpted detail of the hair. He's a bald gentleman, no wonder he wears his hat. And he has sculpted curls all around the back of his head, which we're going to show you here. He has a wonderfully enameled eyes. Not enough attention has been paid to the whole history of these Neapolitan figures. They were made, although it might have started by St. Francis of Assisi as a nativity scene, it eventually spread to all of the wealthy families of Naples who built entire scenes in their home with more emphasis on the people of the village, the peasants and the townspeople and the shopkeepers and the housekeepers and all of the different costumes they would wear. They're usually found in like the 15 to 18 inch size. To find one in this size is absolutely extraordinary, wearing his original costume. And I want you to pay particular attention to the detail of his stockings, which are his leggings rather, which are like a homespun material and have hand-painted and embroidered designs over the top of them. Very, very fine and wonderful piece of work as far as I'm concerned. It's extraordinary. The fellow standing next to him, well, let's do it this way, and then we can kind of move them over. We have a lot of wonderful dollhouse miniatures and furniture and rooms in this auction. And sometimes a set of furniture comes along that just appeals to me personally. And I just wanted to tell you that I loved this set. I loved all of the original detail of the blue upholstery with the painted accents on the back of the furniture. And then the final touches, which you find on the armoire and on the tabletop. I want to reach for it here. You find the decoupage of birds of flight. So a wonderful piece, wonderful miniature furniture, to me would have been a very luxury, detailed one. All right, oh my goodness. It's safe, folks. Let's start with this little fellow. He's unhappy because I just knocked over that little one chair. And he came to us in this wooden chair with the wheels designed to push the child around the house. And I thought it was so aptly put in that chair because he is like, let me out of here. You put the child in the chair, you actually locked him in. It was very safe and very secure. It was a play table or an eating table, a wonderful piece of folk art, and that wonderful screaming baby that is so very rare to find, made out of bisque. Great presentation. Big fellow and little girl, his own little doll, standing next that he's holding, and they're sold as one lot, made by Steiff, some of their very early, rare to find character dolls in the big size like this fellow, seldom ever find. So this is a great treasure, something, I don't know what I say, when you walk in the house, the kind of thing that makes you happy to walk in the house every day. And they fit in beautifully with all of the wonderful collection of early teddy bears that I mentioned earlier. Standing over here, the tall piece standing over here, is a wonderful example of the pyramids made in the Erzberg section of Germany for so many centuries, really. And it was designed as a Christmas ornament. It was called the pyramid. Each of these pieces is individual. So if you're thinking about, if I own this, how am I going to store it or whatever? Because each comes apart and they stack, one designed to stack one on top of the other. How did it work? See these candles? You lit the candles made the fan go around, and the fan makes the pyramid go around with all of the carved wooden Erzberg women, men, animals, trees, accessories, and other wonderful pieces in gradation of size according to how they would fit on the pyramid. And I was looking at some literature last night about this and about early Christmas trees, and I was thinking, How many houses, how could that have happened that the trees were laden with candles and they never had fires? How did that ever happen? I don't know. Nevertheless, here we are. There was no electricity. What choice did they have? Here the candles performed a wonderful function, not only of lighting the piece, but making the action begin. Wonderful and very rare piece to find. And then we have our great little fellow here I want to show you. One of the several automatons in the auction, and I like this one because he's funny. He's amusing. He's the baker, the chef in the kitchen, but he also has musical aspirations. So he's taken the skillet and the turkey, and he's using the skillet becomes his violin, and the tongs become the bow, and he's playing music. And he is designed to stick his tongue in and out, but his tongue needs a little bit of adjustment. But nevertheless, the rest of his movement is a whole presentation with original costume. It's quite delightful. We have a wonderful carved wooden doll that I know absolutely nothing about. And maybe somebody will know and they'll write to me and tell me. But I loved it because of how ingeniously this was put together. First of all, it's wooden except for the stuffed canvas upper arms and upper legs. And then carved boots. You can even see the faded detail of the original painted buttons on the boots. And then look at the wonderful way the doll was designed to articulate. By having this deep groove in the stomach, you could bring it forward and the doll could very nicely sit. And turn it around. And the same thing is true in the back. That's quite a butt she has there, but it has the swivel and swivel back and forth a bit on the waist, but just beautifully pivot. Wonderful design, very interesting. This is the original canvassing, which is all tacked on with the original nails. Handmade, look at the carved detail of the hair. Not dissimilar to the Schoenhut boy I showed you just a while ago, although clearly not made by Schoenhut. I'm not suggesting that. And turning it around. It's just a wonderful little face with hand-painted details and a well-loved patina. Great doll. Anyone knows about it, please share it with us all. I would love to know, and I will share it with other people. We have, I saved this bisque doll. I might have shown it earlier, but I wanted to draw particular attention to this to you because this doll was made by the Cameron Reinhardt Company as part of their art series, and I wanted to show you its markings because it looks like a classic baby to you. It looks like sort of a combination of the 115 model, the 116 model, and then you turn it over and you find that the marks on the back of the head is 119, and mysteriously, where is it here? The word after the 119, the word baby. Now, interesting to me because the word baby is in English. So clearly this doll was made with a bent toward marketing to either the English or the American market. Very, very few of these ever showed up, so we don't know if this was a special commission doll or if it was just made to market to these particular markets and never really succeeded. But very rare to find a wonderful face and a wonderful antique costume. So you want to pay particular attention to anything that has unusual markings like that. How's your hat? Is it on there right? Okay, great. And then I wanted to tell you about Blythe, this wonderful doll, which is the last doll in the catalog. And Blythe was a very, very experimental doll of its time. It was inspired by paintings of the Big-Eyed Girls, of which a wonderful movie was made called Big Eyes, which you do want to take a look at if you can. And this was designed and made by the Hasbro company. And watch, she has this very rare feature I want to tell you. Right now, she has blue eyes, which are known in their advertising as beautiful blue. I'm only going to do this once because I'm so afraid. Did they change? There, and it snapped. You have to hear that little click. And now, what do we have? eyes that they called beautiful brown. And then you pull the string again. And what do we have? Groovy green. Very hip, modern doll, made in the 1960s. Very, very few still exist today with the mechanism intact in them. There are whole clubs that collect the Blythe doll and the whole Blythe concept. And the entire concept of the Big Eye dolls has become quite widespread. So it closes our auction because we do want people to kind of keep their eyes open and expand. And I see this particular Blythe doll as ongoing googly. Think of it that way. Now finally, to conclude, I have a wonderful doll I want to show you, because when it comes time for the auction, I want you to all gather around your computer, put your feet up, enjoy, pass the day with us. We'll have good fun and laughter, even though we're doing it all virtually. And as our chef says, as you gather your snacks and get ready to spend the day, bon appetit. Lots of people's favorite doll in this entire auction, a poured wax. He's a wonderful piece. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing these with me. I wish I could show you all 300 and more dolls and toys and curiosities that appear in this auction. It's a wonderful day. It's going to be full of a lot of good fun and laughter. And if you want to see it, you can go to our website, go on Bid Online. You can see a virtual copy of the catalog on our website by clicking on the issue button. You can order a print copy of the catalog, just have alongside you as you're watching. And let's all celebrate with Connie Bailey, who's had a wonderful heritage as a keeper of these many dolls for so many years, and now is going to pass them into the hands of you, who will also be the keeper of the dolls. Thanks very much.